What's going on, guys? Hope this video finds you well. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to click and watch this video. There's a million things that you could be doing right now, so I greatly appreciate you coming and checking out this channel. The topic of discussion today is happiness, and I think it's very hard to find one route to happiness, but what I've learned is that small baby steps and small steps throughout your day and throughout your entire life will help you to achieve this. Now, let me start by saying I am not a doctor, I am not a psychiatrist or anything like that, but I'm using the tools that I have, learned to come accustomed to and that I use in my daily life, because I feel like everybody faces these similar situations, and it's only right for me to express the things that I use in my life, and hopefully it will resonate with some of you guys and you'll be able to move forward in your lives in a better way. Now, let me start by saying I have no idea what the actual key to happiness is, because I don't believe that there is just one key. I feel like it's almost easier to obtain unhappiness than it is to obtain happiness, and I think that comes a lot from our lives not being what we want them to be or what we expect them to be, and also comparisons to what we see of other people or where we feel like we need to be. One thing that I've learned and that I use as a daily practice is to not compare my behind the scenes to other people's highlight reels. That right there, to me, is the first thing that will trigger some type of uneasy feeling or unhappiness in my life. As I said before in a previous video, Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, all of these things can be curated to show a side of our lives that we want to put out into the public. Same with the YouTube videos. I watch a lot of other vlogs and a lot of other YouTubers that put out these incredible vlogs or bodies of work, and they put out what they want the viewers to see or what the viewers are asking for. And sometimes I get in my own head and it's just a constant battle of overthinking, like, wow, I wish I could have that, or I wish I could do that or be like that. And I have to snap myself out of it and understand that that's not my life, that's not my path, and that's not what real life is. I think that a lot of times we get caught up in thinking that life is just blissful and it has to be very easy and things just flow perfectly. And in my experience with life, I think that is the exact opposite of what it actually is. There was a quote in the movie Deadpool that really stuck out to me. He said, "Life is an endless series of train wrecks with brief commercial-like breaks of happiness." Now, I don't believe that life is all train wrecks, but I do believe that life has to be learned and it has to be lived in a manner that teaches us and helps us grow. I don't really think that we can learn and grow as people and evolve the way that we need to without some sort of hardships or some type of difficult lessons that we have to go through. And I think the more that we go on and the more that we try and gain new knowledge and new understanding and experience these different things in our lives, sometimes those lessons become harder to learn. And the more that we fight it and the more that we try and go against the grain and try and make everything as easy and blissful as it can be, we actually end up making it even more difficult for ourselves. I know this doesn't necessarily seem like life hacks to happiness, but I do think it's very important to understand that unhappiness, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, all of those things are normal, and they may happen more often than not in some people or some cases, but I don't think that people talk about it enough and actually say, hey, I'm dealing with this. Have you ever experienced something similar to that? Because I'll put it out there, I actually had a pretty gnarly anxiety, panic attack, whatever you want to call it, this past week. And it kind of startled me. And I've battled with depression before. As I mentioned in the first video, my mom passed away. The ending of a pretty long and, loving relationship immediately followed after that. So I've had talks with therapists, and I've had to deal with things on my own and with the help of others. I really think that just being open and honest and just reaching out to people is something that will help you obtain this happiness. And I'm speaking to myself just as I'm speaking to you as well, because these are things that I have to constantly remind myself of. And it's not always easy to do that. I really do believe that surrounding yourself with people that have a similar mindset or people that have, shared interests with you is very, very important. And if you don't have that many people around you, just reach out to people. Find something that, you can get involved in. Go to a skate park and skate if that's what you do. Go to the gym and lift, and just be open to new experiences and new opportunities, and don't shelter yourself, because I've done that myself, and I will tell you that is the worst possible thing that you can do. Being reclusive and just staying in your apartment, or if you're at home, staying in your room and just not, you know, being out in the world and interacting with people is the quickest way to depression and you know, bad physical health and mental health and emotional health, and it's very unstable. And I know that a lot of people deal with these things, and I just feel like we have to, you know, encourage and empower one another. And today I encourage you to, you know, reach out to somebody that you haven't spoken to in a long time, or you know, just send a text message saying, hey, I was thinking about you. I hope everything is good. You don't need to have a response. You don't need to have a long-standing conversation, but just knowing that, you know, you extended that hand and that person may be going through something that, you know, they didn't think anybody else was willing to understand or wanted to hear about or just even cared. And that it'll actually make you feel better as well. I've reached out to people sometimes just saying, hey, because they crossed my mind, or even if they didn't cross my mind, I just sometimes I go through my contacts, and if it's somebody I haven't spoken to in a while, I'll just shoot a quick text message saying, hey, how you doing? I hope your day's going well. If they don't respond, that's all good, but it actually fills you up with love and it makes you feel better too. That's another quick little tip of things that I like to do and things that I like to use. Just stay optimistic. You know, it's very difficult to go through life with a pessimistic mentality or having just, you know, the woe is me mentality, because that's only going to attract more negative situations. I know it's very cliche to, you know, talk about the law of attraction and things like that. I just know from my personal experience that when I start thinking about, you know, how everything is just terrible or things are going wrong, nothing's really going the way that I hoped it would be going or that I wish it was going, it's just a vicious cycle of those same type of thoughts and those same type of experiences that continue popping up in my life, or, you know, those thoughts keep popping up in my head. And if you can just be aware and be conscious of your thoughts and understand that you're not gonna have a perfect set of thoughts throughout the day. There's always gonna be things that creep up. You know, there's always things that give us stress or anxiety, or, you know, there's just stuff you don't want to deal with, whether it's work or school, girlfriend, boyfriend problems. Just there's so much stuff that pops up in our minds throughout the day that just kind of like trigger these little, you know, mood swings. And just understanding that those are going to happen and knowing what to do to shift that whenever those pop up is very, 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 very important. So just monitor your thoughts. Understand that you are not alone. Not for nothing, if nobody else understands, I understand and I care. That's why I'm posting these videos. It's for the people that actually need to hear this information, that really want to understand what they're going through and know that other people are going through it as well. I just want to help. I want to spread love. I want to receive love. If you guys have any information that you want to share with me, if you have any, you know, comments about what you may be going through, or if you have a question that I can help with, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist. I'm not a life coach. I'm none of that. I'm just a guy with the camera talking to you guys, talking to myself, and really just trying to help us all grow and to help us all feel better. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like on your way out. I really appreciate you taking the time out to even watch this to the very end. It means so much to me, more than you actually know, because not only is this therapy for you, it's therapy for myself. I have all these same thoughts that I need to get out of my mind, and because I'm, you know, alone 99% of the time, I just overthink, and I really get in these thought processes, and just it kind of goes haywire. So this is just as much for me as it is for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. It's your boy Steezus signing out.